Hello, my name is Lilian Okibe. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 8 things you need to do before you start locks if you want to have healthy locks and a happy and blissful lock journey. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, then please keep on watching. First step you need to take before you start locks, if you want to have a healthy set of locks and like a happy blissful lock journey, is for you to discover your motivation for starting locks. Now there are so many reasons why people start locks. Like the reasons are kind of like endless. Some people start locks for spiritual reasons. Some people start locks because they just want to have locks, right? Some people start locks because it is trendy. Some people start locks because they are tired of having to care for their loose natural hair and they are looking for an easy way out. It's very important for you to discover, like, it's possible for you to have several motivations, right? But you really want to sit down and be honest with yourself and discover what is the main motivation for you starting locks. Like, what's the main reason, like the major, if you have to pick only one, what is the main reason why you want to get locks? This is very important because it's going to help you decide other things down the line, especially the next point I'll be talking about, right? When you figure out your motivation, you can go ahead and write it somewhere, right? So that you do not ever forget. This is going to be like the bedrock on which you're going to build other things when you eventually start your locks, or even before you start your locks, steps you take and like methods you use for starting, maintaining, and all the likes. This is going to help you narrow it down and pick something that is going to be best for you. This is so important. Next step is for you to decide what size of locks you want to have. Now, I've said this several times on my channel. There are so many lock sizes that you can have. Like, there are different lock sizes that you can have, and all sizes of locks are beautiful. There is no size that is like better than another. There is no size that is more beautiful than another. All sizes are beautiful, but not all sizes will be the best for you, right? If you go ahead and pick a size that will not work for you, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be so frustrated. I've seen so many people end their lock journeys prematurely because they picked a size. In short, many times when you see people coming out their locks, there is a high chance that one of the major reasons why they are coming out their locks is because they do not like how their locks turned out. And one of the reasons why they end up with locks and they do not like how it turned out is because they chose the wrong size of locks, right? This is a very crucial thing you need to discover. Now, I have a video already on my channel where I go in depth and like giving you the pros and cons of all the different sizes and just tailor it down to help you decide what size of locks will be best for you. That video, like, is very helpful. If you've not discovered what size of locks you want to have and you're about to start locks or you're about to restart your locks, I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch that video. Like, that video it will help you so much, right? I'll link it up in the iCards and I'll try to link it in the description box as well. The reason why I have locks that I'm so happy with is because I ended up choosing a size that is like perfect for me. If I had chosen a different size from what I have right now, I most likely would not be as fulfilled as I am with my lock journey right now. So this is not just like, oh, just pick any size. Some people say just pick any size or pick something that is smaller than what you probably want, and then you can always go ahead and combine if you're not happy with the size eventually. Now, this sounds logical, but in practical, if in practical, it's not actually that simple, because when you go ahead and combine your locks, you're going to be changing the shape of your parts, and you're also going to be changing, this will also affect how your locks will turn out. So for example, most times when you combine locks, the combined locks will be more prone to being flat because the shape is not just going to be ideal, right? I talked about this in one of my videos where I talked about reasons why your locks may turn out flat. I'll link that video. I'll try to link that. There's a limit to how many videos I can link in the iCards, but I'll try to link it in the iCards and also in the comment section. But if you go ahead and combine your lock, there's a high chance that the new lock is going to be more prone to being flat. So you're going to have to be fighting your hair if you want to prevent flat locks. So if you're someone who wants more cylindrical looking locks, this can cause issues down the line. So it's better for you to start with the size of locks that you want and just continue like that, as opposed to starting with a size and then combining down the line. So the fact that you like how a set size of locks look does not automatically mean that is going to be the best size of locks for you. I've seen so many people who go ahead and start their locks, thinking that, oh, my friend has this size of locks, it looks nice, I like how it looks, so for that I'm going to go ahead and get the same size of locks. And then they end up getting the size of locks, and then they realize that, oh, it is not actually as easy as I thought it was going to be, and then they get frustrated and end their lock journey prematurely. So it's very important for you to pick a size that is best for you, not just picking a size that looks nice. Right? Now, another thing you need to do is for you to figure out what look of locks you're going to have. Now, we previously talked about different sizes of locks, right? But you can have the same size of locks but different looks. Now, what I mean by looks is you can have locks that look more fluffy and loose and free, and then you can also have locks that are like more defined and tight. Deciding what look of locks you want will affect what method you're going to use to start your locks, because different methods of locks will give you different looks, right? Deciding what look of locks you also want to also affect what method you're going to use to maintain your locks as your locks get more mature, because different methods of maintaining locks is going to give different looks, right? If you make up your mind that, oh, I want fluffy locks, that's just going to save you a lot of headache, because when it's time for you to make decisions down the line, it's going to come easy for you. So for example, for me, before I started my locks, I already knew that I wanted to have fluffy locks. I did not want to have like tight, defined, superly manicured locks. I wanted locks that would look like fluffy and kind of look like it's very, very soft, right? And so when I was deciding the method I used to start my locks, I decided to go for the Lilian Okibe locks method, because I knew that would give me like fluffy looking locks. It was also time for me to go ahead and maintain my locks. I knew that, oh, I wanted to retreat to the method that will also give me something that will be loose and fluffy looking, right? And that's why I went for the method that I used to maintain my locks. I did not maintain my locks like the conventional way. I did not retwist how most people retwist. I retwist in such a way that my locks still remain loose and fluffy, and that's why my locks look like this, you know. So it's very important for you to know what you want. Someone else may want something that is like more defined and like more manicured and things like that. So for someone like that, you may want to pick another method that will give you that kind of look, you know. Know what you want before you start. Know the look of locks that you're trying to aim for, and so that will help you to like narrow down your options, the options that you have, because you know the end goal that you're looking to achieve. Now, I have a video also on my channel where I have two videos already. One video where I share the different methods of starting locks and which method will be best for you. I'll link that video in the iCards and also in the description box. I also have another video where I share the different methods of maintaining locks, retwisting, interlocking, the Lilian and Okibe locks method and the likes. And then I share with you guys the pros and cons of different methods. So if you're someone who right now you've not figured all of this out, I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch those videos. I'll link them up in the iCards and down in the description box as well. Next step is for you to decide how you're going to start your locks, what method you're going to use to start your locks. If you've answered all the previous questions correctly, this is going to be easy, because each method of starting locks has the look that is going to give you. Each method of starting locks is going to have the pros and the cons, right? Now, I want to let you guys know that how you start your locks will greatly affect how your locks will look for at least the first 2 years of your lock journey, depending on how long the hair you're starting with is. So if you're starting with super long hair, just know that how you start your locks will affect how your locks will look for like up to maybe 3 or 4 years of your lock journey, right? Before your new growth grows to a certain level. Now, how you maintain your locks is going to affect how your locks will look beyond that time frame. So if you're starting with hair that is like not very long, in about 2 years or so, how your locks will look at that particular time is going to greatly depend on how you have been maintaining your locks for the past 2 years. So I want you guys to like bear this in mind when you're deciding how you want to start your locks and how you want to maintain your locks. After you have decided how you want to start your locks, the next step is for you to go ahead and decide how you want to maintain your locks, right? Like I said, I have a video already on my channel where I share all the different maintenance methods and the pros and cons of each method, just to help you figure out which one is going to be best for you. So I'll link that in the iCards and also in the description box. Now, it's possible for you to change how you maintain your locks. It's possible for you to interchange, right? And it's also possible for you to change. So for example, if you start maintaining your locks with like interlocking, for instance, you can decide maybe a year or 2 years into your lock journey that, oh, I no longer want to maintain my locks with interlocking method. I want to move to retwisting, right? You can always do this, and this will eventually change how your locks will look in about 2 years time if you consistently continue to maintain like the retwist method, for example. So you can change that down the line. It's not like something that if you start with a method you have to continue, but just know that how you maintain your locks, if you are consistent with a certain method of maintaining your locks, in a few years time it will affect how your locks will eventually look. So the next step you need to take is for you to decide who is going to start your locks and who is going to maintain them as your locks get more mature. What you decide here rather will work hand in hand with like the size of locks you choose. So for example, if you are someone who, okay, you don't want to, maybe you have limited budget and you cannot afford to have someone else maintain your locks or like have someone else start your locks, then obviously you know that you're going to be doing it yourself. You also want to bear in mind that, okay, am I someone who enjoys doing my hair? If you're someone who enjoys doing their hair, then that is easy. You can go ahead and choose any lock size. But if you're someone who, yes, you do not have the budget to get someone to do it for you, but at the same time you're not someone who enjoys doing their hair, you want to start locks because you want an easy way out, right? Then choosing a lock size that is very small, for instance like sister locks or micro locks, will not be the best option for you, because this will mean that you're going to need to be maintaining your locks more frequently, and you're also going to spend longer time doing your hair whenever you want to maintain your locks. And also, even when you're starting your locks, it will take a lot of time for you to install your locks in the first place. So these are things you need to bear in mind. So like that's why I say that whatever you decide here will work hand in hand with the size of locks that you choose. It's best for you to sit down and be honest with yourself and come up with something that would actually work very well for you based on like your budget, your lifestyle, and things like that. And the next step you need to take, and I feel like this is something many people do not put into consideration when they are starting locks, and this is something that is very important. How well you do this step is going to make or mar your locks, like your lock journey. It's going to determine how pleasant your journey is going to be or how unpleasant it's going to be. And that is, you have to mentally prepare yourself for the lock journey that is ahead. Now let me tell you guys, the lock journey, especially within the first year or 1.5 years, is not the easiest thing you're going to do. It can come with a lot of problems, a lot of discrimination from other people and the likes, because that first year of your lock journey, your hair is just doing its own thing. It's looking however it wants to look. Many people will not think your hair looks good and things like that. So these are things you need to actually mentally prepare for. Apart from that, because in the first year of your lock journey, you're going to have a lot of uncertainty. You don't know how your locks will turn out. You're going to have so many questions, and there is a high chance that you may not have someone who will be available to answer all your questions or answer them as detailed as you would want them to be answered. So you need to mentally prepare for all these uncertainties and know that all these things are part of the journey. It's not peculiar to you. This is something that everyone who has healthy looking locks that you see today, they've probably gone through something similar. So you need to prepare yourself mentally. I find that many people do not do this, and that's why they end up, they start their locks thinking that it's going to go a certain way, and then it goes another way, and they're like, oh, this is not what I planned for, and then they go ahead and comb their locks out or cut their locks off before they get to the part where their locks look like so juicy and like everyone is, loving the locks and things like that, right? So mentally prepare for the journey ahead. They say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you do not plan, especially mentally, because it all has to do with your mind. It's all in your head, right? If you have a certain perspective about your hair, it will rub off on other people as well. So it's very, very important for you to mentally prepare. Now, I have a video on my channel where I share tips that will help you prepare for your lock journey and that will help you have a smooth and enjoyable starter lock phase. I'll link that video up in the iCards if you're interested. I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch that video because I share some really helpful tips that will help you enjoy your starter lock. So check the iCards or the description box for the video. The next step you need to take is for you to prepare, like physically prepare your hair, your loose natural hair for the lock journey ahead. This is another thing that I noticed that many people do not pay attention to. And although this is not like something that you have to do, it's not like if you do not do this, then that's the end of the world. You are never going to have healthy locks. No, that's not the case. But when you start locks with healthy, loose natural hair, your starter lock phase is going to be easier because healthy hair looks better. If you start your locks with damaged hair, your starter lock phase is going to be difficult because your starter locks will look damaged. Like, it's as simple as that. So I always recommend, if you can, I know that there are people who their hair is like so damaged right now, and if they want to like, wait until their hair gets like healthy, it's going to push the lock journey too far away and it may cause issues. So for that, you can go ahead and start your lock journey regardless, even though your natural hair is not healthy. I actually know that if you follow good hair practices when you have locks, it is easier for you to nurse your hair back to good health when you have locks than when you have loose natural hair. But if you are someone who is obsessed with always manipulating and retwisting and all the likes, that's going to make things worse. But if you follow the good hair practices, all the tips I share here on my channel, it's actually easier for you to grow and nurse locks than loose hair. Anyway, you can start your lock journey with damaged hair, but just know that it's going to make your starter lock phase a little bit more difficult than if you start your locks with healthy hair. So I usually advise that before you start your locks, it's a good idea to get a trim. If you're starting with long hair, just cut up those damaged and raggedy ends and everything like that. But don't start your locks immediately after you get a trim, because when you get a trim immediately, your ends are going to be blunt, and if your ends are blunt, your hair will most likely not hold your starter style as well, you know, and then you're going to have issues with unraveling, which is not like a bad thing. You know, unraveling is not like the end of the world. It's not like your hair is not going to lock if your starter style is unraveling. I've talked about this several times on my channel, but I know that if your ends are so blunt that it's like really unraveling, it can be a headache for many people. So I understand that. So get a trim like a month before when you want to start your locks, a month or like 2 months before when you plan to start your locks, so that your ends are going to be healthy but not so blunt that it's not going to hold on to your starter style. This is like a good practice that I highly recommend. Now, if you do not do that, you also have the option of getting a trim after you have started your locks. So like a month or 2 months, or maybe like 6 months into your lock journey, you can trim those raggedy ends if you see that they're actually making your locks look weird. But also bear in mind that you need to be careful when you're doing that, because it's in some cases what many people call scraggly ends are actually their hair budding and like shrinking and all of that. So it's not like your ends are damaged, it's just like part of the journey. So you're probably going to need a professional to be able to decide which is which. But if you after you start your locks, you can always get a trim. I know I got a trim, I think it was maybe like 2 weeks or 4 weeks, I think about 2 to 4 weeks after I started my locks. I know that I got a trim because I actually did not trim my hair before, like just before I started my locks. So I noticed that I had some raggedy ends, so I cut those ends a few weeks into my lock journey. And I also subsequently I've had several other trims with my locks, and you guys can see how like nice and healthy my locks and like the ends of my locks are. So trimming is not a bad thing. You can always trim locks. I know that people feel like, what's the need, you don't need to trim locks, but I trim my locks. So now that you have figured all of this out, this is now the time for you to start your locks. Go ahead and start your locks. I have to say that no matter how prepared you think you are, the lock journey is still going to surprise you, because you cannot predict how your locks will turn out. The thing is, even if you have if you've had locks before, right? Each set of locks comes with its own vibe and its own look. So even if you've had locks before and you go ahead and start with the exact same number of locks, and you go ahead and start with the exact method that you started with the previous time, and you go ahead and get the same person who installed your last sets to do it again, there's a high chance that your locks will not look identical, because there are so many factors that affect how your locks look. So many environmental factors, actually, things that are beyond your control that affect how your locks will turn out. Like, to an extent, right? You have some power, some power to decide how your locks look, like how healthy and juicy and thick and shiny. You have some control over all those things. But at the same time, there are also certain factors that are beyond your control that still have some inputs to how your locks will look. So you cannot over prepare, right? So go ahead and do your research, but eventually just go ahead and start, because no matter how much research you do, you're never going to know how your locks will look until you start your locks and you start to see how your locks look, right? It's good to do some research, it's good to watch videos, it's good to ask questions and the likes, but at the end of the day, you're never going to know how your locks will look until you start. So go ahead and start. That will come to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to my channel if you want to learn how to get healthy, thick, rich, juicy, luscious locks. If you guys would also like to learn how I style my locks and how I retwist my locks for thickness, I share all of that in my online course. I'll put the link down in the description box, and if I still have space for iCards, I'll also put the link in the iCards. If you also click my name and go to my homepage, you find the link over there as well. If you like to see the products that I use for my locks, I have all of them available on my website. I'll put the link down in the description box, and if you click my name and go to my homepage, you find the link over there. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video.